Somewhere between It's a Wonderful Life and For the Man That Has Everything lies tonight's episode of Arrow, the 100th episode. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Arrow. As much. If you missed Flash last night, then, you missed all the introduction of what's going on. But tonight, we're talking about Arrow, the 100th episode. And you know what? It was a pretty decent, but not great part of the crossover, and I have to say, it would have done better as just a standalone 100th episode and then the crossover next week. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So we're going to start with crossover stuff. Obviously, the Dominators were testing them, and obviously the Dominators were trying their best to keep them in that fantasy land because they wanted to keep them away from the other heroes. However, the fact that it was obviously the characters that originated on Arrow that they took was a little weird, and they only really have Thea there. Her entire role was to provide that extra few scenes of drama of, oh my god, I don't want to leave the paradise. And I mean, it's fair. Let's talk about this for a second. Imagine for a moment that everything you've ever lost in your life could come back. But it wasn't real. It was a holodeck simulation, it was a dream sequence, it was whatever. But you could choose just to live in that perfect world. Of course, the problem is it's not a perfect world, because when you know it's a lie, it's not perfect. Somewhere deep down, it would always eat at you that it wasn't real. But maybe it wouldn't. So, maybe just a quick question in the comment section. Would you be able to walk away from paradise? But okay, back to the Dominators themselves, and I have to say, part of this is hopefully going to be the gene bomb that I've been hoping for since they announced that this was Invasion. Although, whatever they were plugging into their subconscious, I can't imagine what Thea and Oliver and Spartan would be needed for, because at the end of the day, if you can take Ray Palmer's information, it should at least give you both scientific and historical documents. Now, there's another thing. When fixing one thing, they brought up yet another problem. Last night, during Flash, I said that we were missing characters because people like Terrific didn't show up. Well, you know what? We're still missing a character. Even though Steel showed up and I assume Vixen was on the Wave Rider as well. What about Artemis? Part of me thought I almost missed a week's episode. I had to actually go back and double check that I saw last week's, and there was none last week. See, here's the thing. Artemis, yes, we, the audience, now know is betraying the team, but the team doesn't. Why isn't she there for this? Why isn't she helping to fight? Well, I guess we have Speedy instead of her, but that's like out of show. We have one female archer instead of another. Tonight's show did do well by all of the guest stars, though. White Canary showed off as well as ever. The Atom was better than he ever was on Arrow, as good as he is on Legends. And everything seemed to flow pretty good with the inclusion of these characters. The only thing I felt was a little weird was the villain fight with Flash and Supergirl and Wild Dog. I mean, nothing about that character seemed to yell, you need Supergirl and Flash to double team her with super speed punches, and, I mean, if she's really that invulnerable, that Supergirl needs to throw her at super speed into Flash, running at super speed, in order to knock her out, what could possibly challenge her? She is a god in this universe. Overall, I am geeking out about this Invasion storyline. It's good, it's just, I don't know, maybe I built it up too much in my own head and expected it to be so much better. They seem to have completely skipped the Supergirl part of the crossover, rushed through the Flash part trying to get as much as we could, so that the Arrow crossover part could be 90% It's a Wonderful Life in the fake world, just so that we could get to the Legends finish. There's a consistency that's a timing issue with the way this works. In my why we tell horror stories video, I talked about pacing, and the pacing of these stories are all off. We run really fast just to wait and slow down, and it just isn't working for me. Which is a shame, because I'm totally the target audience. I love the CW shows, I love superheroes, and this is totally right up my alley. But maybe that's just the comic book fan in me, that I was expecting too much. Meanwhile, on to Arrow and the specific Arrow stuff that happened. To be honest, we didn't move any of the Arrow story forward, because we didn't have Artemis. We didn't have anything going on that was really... In fact, that's the worst part about this. For the fact that so much of this crossover was eaten up with Arrow characterization, it was really a what-if episode. So most of that characterization is really just, yup, Oliver's still tough. The end. The nostalgia of seeing the old characters come back for one final goodbye, though, was kind of cool. So, we have one more episode to go, and it looks like the invasion is fully on. My bet is that they're going to use the Wave Rider in order to fight in 2 time periods, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they just gather intel in 1 time period to fight in ours. And again, I'm hoping for a gene bomb that totally changes the status quo. Even if they didn't bat 1,000 on this crossover, I have to hand it to them that they took some risks and they tried something new, and even if they didn't hit it out of the park. Good job, guys, at least so far. I'm not totally disappointed, I just kind of wish it was a little bit on the better side. But for now, if you followed with me this far, you might as well subscribe to watch tomorrow night when I talk about Legends of Tomorrow, and then eventually recap this whole thing. So like, subscribe, and comment so that we can build this community, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching.